listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you something.
Stand by.
On the morning shift.
Anything
Could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
Good morning. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh, and glad to be with you here today. And we got our new sound on the mic, and it's really a booming. Oh my goodness! I don't know if I can even get used to this. It's
A little too much for you?
So radio-esque, so booming. I don't
I
know.
will try it out, and then I will dial it back a little bit and try that.
No, I don't know. You know what? Maybe I can get used to it, but I'm not sure. It's very robust. No?
It seems all right for me.
Yeah, I like it. It's so we're here live on CKLU 96.7 FM, cklu.ca. If you have the Firefox browser, you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. Also, if you download the Radio Player Canada app, which I think can work for some people. I was not able to get it to work earlier, but also Facebook Live, facebook.com/Sudbury News, YouTube Live, youtube.com/Sudbury News. We're getting it done that way. And thanks for joining us, all of you that join us each and every day. We did take yesterday off, however, just to get a bit of a hiatus because it was the civic holiday here in Sudbury. So we were able to have a bit of a break here on the show, and I hope you were able to as well, and get some enjoyment out of your civic holiday. So let's just jump right into everything here today. Hopefully we'll have your comments up here as I'm trying to boot up your Facebook live comments on the big screen, and then we can throw them up on the little screen. But we'll be back with some weather right after this. As promised, here you go. Here's the weather for today. It's currently 12 degrees. It is humidity is 85%, and going on to the rest of today, you got your cloudy 30% chance of showers or drizzle early this morning, clearing this afternoon. High of 23, and the humidex will be about 25. The humidex, 25, UV index 7 or high. And then tonight, clear, increasing cloudiness after midnight, and the low will be about 13. And then Wednesday, cloudy, showers in the morning, risk of thunderstorm late in the morning and in the afternoon. The wind will be 30 kilometers, gusting to 60, so a little windy. High of 20, the humidex 27, and the UV index will be 3 or moderate. And then our long-range forecast, Wednesday, as mentioned, some showers, and then mix of sun and cloud on Thursday, high of 24. Friday, I can't believe we're already talking about Friday. It's only the beginning of the week, but it's Tuesday because we had yesterday off. So This feels like the week's already, like tomorrow will be hump day already if you work a 5-day work week, Monday to Friday. But Friday's looking sunny, and then Saturday mix of sun and cloud. And so we'll have a little bit of wet, it looks like, if you want to generalize things for tomorrow. And then after that, it looks like it'll clear up. So hopefully some nice weather on the weekend, like we were able to enjoy a little bit this weekend. We'll be right back after this with some of the headlines, or we're going to be covering today with Billy. Promised, we got your little bit of a split screen we're working on. Oh, get rid of that. We'll put Billy there, and we'll put me here. And here we are. Hear a little bit of interference in my headphones. I don't know if you hear the same
I've heard
thing.
that before. It's a little glitchy, kind of staticky thing.
But it might not be coming through on the live, right? So I'll have to listen back later.
I would guess that it is.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Who knows? Yeah,
It's live. It's live.
50-50.
Yep. Live 50-50 live streaming, live radio. Anything can happen, as it says in our segue at the beginning. And it's true. And good morning, Lise. Hope you're doing good today. Hope everyone's having a fine Tuesday. We got Billy in with me here today. He wasn't supposed to be, but he is now. And I'm really glad for it.
Yeah.
Thankful.
Things just kind of worked out.
Yeah. It's great to have.
My mind did some mental maneuvering.
Your mind did some mental maneuvering.
It did. And then it altered the exterior world.
Wow.
And here I am. I've
how do you do that?
changed
That's
things.
pretty awesome.
Yeah. There's a book on it.
Okay. How the mind is mental maneuvering.
You've got to do mind is the builder.
Well, the mind is a very powerful thing. There's no doubt about that. And I think I'm just trying to get everyone's comments loaded up here. So it just looks like it's taking a little longer than usual.
All right. I could start with some of the headlines here.
Well, hang on. I want to get the screen here
okay.
going with you if we can and get my messages taken off. Bing, bang, bing, bing, bong. There we go. And I know what's going to happen here because technology, we got our new system going and it's working fairly well. I just have to get some getting used to with it. And then everything will be fine. So as we're going through, so this is the thing I wanted to, some of the orders are discombobulated because there's some Laurentian things going on. There's some city things going on. And then there's some higher government things going on, but they don't necessarily get shared in order all of the time and go with each other. So let's just go.
Should they even be shared in order? Like
I don't know. Well, that's the
a
thing.
bit of randomness is probably good. I enjoy the surprise bag of things, you know.
Well, that's the thing. You just share them as they come, right? So you can't really share them in order per se, but I'd like to speak about them in order because, you know, or else the show is all over the place. You know what I mean? But you can't really do that. But at least we'll do the headlines and then maybe we'll try and talk about the specific things together. Laurentian, government, and there's an interesting one we'll get to about gun control and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So I definitely want to talk about that today for a bit.
Okay.
So, okay, you take it away.
I'll just start at the top of the list
You
here.
can start at the top.
This is your list.
The list.
Yeah. Sudbury letter, heads must roll for a KED debacle.
Oh, that was last week.
I don't know who the author is yet.
Wasn't that last week?
But I'm thinking you're on the short list as a potential.
Now, when was that shared? Does it say?
7 hours ago.
Because the latest one I shared was 44 minutes ago. So we have a couple other stories. So right here, I don't know if you're able to refresh your screen.
I'm gonna try this again.
See what happens. And while you do that, the latest one I shared was right from this morning, Sudbury Star, about the Laurentian pool. So there's a bunch of swimmers in the picture. User group seeks clarity on shuttered Laurentian pool, offer to pay for repairs. So I don't know if you knew or not, but Laurentian's pool has been kind of out of commission for a while.
I think we touched upon that before.
And people are waiting for answers. They're not sure why. And there's no kind of word on how that's going to come back. So let's come back to that story.
I wonder what that's going to cost.
Exactly. And but there's a group that's not willing to wait for Laurentian to do it and want to just jump in and, do it for them.
And I did just, what's that called when you just skim something? Another word for skim. But anyway, I did skim this Shiny Ponies, Greater Sudbury's Political Folly. So that's an opinion piece, but it had an interesting thought that the accounting kind of in our modern society doesn't really account for the infrastructure. There's something to do with the accounting and the infrastructure needs, repair needs.
Okay, cool. So that's a city thing. So
That's a city thing.
we're going to get to some city politic-y kind of stuff. And then here's the one that I thought was interesting because I saw the headline and I thought, this isn't a Sudbury thing, but then I saw Sudbury in the headline. So I thought, how is that even possible? Minister to target gun, gang violence in Sudbury.
Right, because I think he's coming to Sudbury to speak on it.
So maybe it's not exactly because we have gun and gang violence here, but he's going to talk about it happening in Canada, but he's going to be here when he talks about it. But it's still,
That'd be
I think
interesting to see what he says.
I think we should still unpack that a little bit. And then the next one, I wasn't really sure what this one was about. Did you skim this story as well?
I did. My center in Sudbury seeks to fill gap with fun, safe social setting, which sounded pretty cool. It sounded like this was some kind of meeting place, room. These people show up and they've got a place to go and play games and do stuff.
Yeah, former St.
And
Michael's
you don't have to spend
School.
any money.
Yeah, exactly. And we need things like that in the city. So that's cool. Former St. Michael's School is home to a year-old day program. So let's talk a little bit about that if we can. This one's interesting. Truck trailer and ATV stolen near Wanapate Bridge.
It's interesting.
Is it?
Well, I mean, that's like, I did click on it and skimmed
Good,
it. And
good.
that's pretty much, I think,
That's pretty much the
essentially
story?
the story.
Oh, no,
You know,
there's no more detail.
well, like what else do you need to know? They went for a hike. They came back. Their stuff was gone. And,
no.
if you ever had any stuff stolen, you can kind of
And I'm laughing. but I mean,
empathize.
yeah, if that happened to me, I'd be devastated. And here I
Yeah.
am laughing.
I know.
I apologize to the
And I
people.
noticed the comment underneath it here. Might want to check into the ones that think this is funny.
Oh no, is that what it says? Does it really say that?
Yeah. Yeah. That was 14 hours ago. So it wasn't directed at you.
All
for your laugh
comments.
right
Let's
there.
see here. Oh yeah, I might want to check into his views. Oh no, I think it's funny. And here I did. I fell for it, man. Unfortunately.
I don't know. Sometimes the way the headline's set up, it's,
Yeah.
I don't know. You see that stuff in movies. It's almost kind of cartoony. Like,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But in real life, not so funny.
No. Okay. Well, maybe if that's all the story is, the couple is did they get their vehicle back? Or the trailer?
I don't think they did, but maybe we should go into that later on
Yeah,
because it's a
okay.
type of vehicle. And, put the
We'll put the
put
word
an
out there.
APB out on it.
Maybe some of our listeners, viewers will know something.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Oh, this was a special weather alert yesterday, so it did rain.
Newsflash.
Newsflash, it rained yesterday.
Sudbury filmmaker raising money for locally shot 80s style slasher film.
Okay,
Did I skip one? I think I did.
You
I skipped
two, but that's okay.
Yeah.
There's a restaurant downtown too, or something. Some downtown businesses. CBC had a story.
Oh, yeah. That's a big story.
Downtown Sudbury business owners making efforts to stay safe despite dropping crime numbers.
Despite dropping crime numbers.
Yeah.
That's not what I would have expected.
I know. Usually expect it's the doom and gloom, but no, it's dropping crime numbers. But they are still making efforts to stay safe. Despite
it sounds like
dropping-
they're doing some kind of community effort, which I think that's the name of the game, is to kind of reach out to your neighbors and look out for each other.
Greater Sudbury Police say an increase of foot patrols has helped reduce crime rates in the city's downtown core, even as business owners struggle to find ways to make the neighborhood feel safer.
Yeah. Or
So-
increase foot patrols, whatever works.
Yeah, exactly. Like, that's a good way to keep it safer if you're trying. I think that could just alone keep it safer, don't you? Like if you have increased foot patrol police presence, that alone would make it feel safer because
I have to do some kind of scientific study on that, I'm sure. But
I'm sure if you're thinking of doing a crime
if I was a
you
betting man.
looked around and you saw police walking around, you'd probably think maybe now's not a good time to do this crime.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm pretty
Well, it
sure.
depends where you live too.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. There is a direct correlation to police presence and reduction in crime. I know that for sure. That's scientifically proven. Now, I guess the whole thing over the last little bit has been maybe police have used a little too much force or overreached their bounds to serve and protect. And some people have fought back against that. And there's been a huge movement, that whole defund the police very recently, maybe 2 years ago or something. It was really, really a strong movement. And I think a lot of those cities felt the impact of actually going through with that as crime went through the roof in those cities?
Yeah. It also seems to be affected by the larger political environment, right? So
Yeah.
it's like at that time there was a different political, apex, I guess you could call it. And,
Mhm.
I think maybe that somehow that anger was maybe channeled in those directions. And then, things have changed in the past year in that sense. I haven't heard so much about it.
But I do know that sure, the police could kind of, do a little bit more to learn how to have a little bit better bedside manner, if you will, obviously, and in their serving and protecting. But we do know that they are there to keep an eye on things and make sure things don't get out of hand. And without that layer in our society, it definitely wouldn't feel as safe, first of all, and there wouldn't be as much order, and we wouldn't be able to, it has a ripple effect, right? If you don't feel safe, you don't go out. If you don't go out, you don't buy things. If you don't buy things, the economy starts going down. Or if you don't feel safe going to work, there's all kinds of spin-off with that. So I'm glad the city of Sudbury has an increased presence downtown, for one. It's not the only solution.
Yeah. No, it sounds
We know
like,
that, right? Like we know that there's other things involved with what's going on downtown, and just police alone isn't going to do it. But
we hear quite a bit about the problems there. So
yeah, we do talk about them at length on the show, obviously, too. So the next one that you missed originally, but now you're on top of, is a city-related story.
Yeah. This one's very important to us, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure.
The Greater Sudbury Councillors approve social media policy.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure that's going to have some consequences.
We need to eliminate the gray zone by not allowing counselors to post content, ... So, yeah.
One of
Talk
those
more about
slippery
that.
slope stories.
Yeah.
It's already pretty steep right off the bat, I think.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to talking about that. So, yeah, let's talk about that for sure. That'll be one of our main topics today. Sudbury filmmaker, as you mentioned, raising money for a locally shot 80s style slasher film. Are you a fan of the slasher films?
I'm not a huge fan of, I don't want to say all those. But yeah, no, I like my entertainment pretty light and fluffy.
Yeah.
I like a good, feel good, happy ending,
Yeah, slasher films I don't think fit into that category per se. Am I off on that?
Again, I can't be a good judge because I really haven't watched too many.
Yeah.
I think I saw Amityville Horror when I was about 8 or 9, and it's far from a slasher film, but it kind of set the tone. Like,
I don't want to see movies like this
I don't
anymore.
like feeling like that.
I think a lot of people share your views with horror movies. Either you like that feeling. It's kind of like if you like roller coasters, or you don't. You like that feeling of feeling like totally like your stomach is in your throat, or you don't like that feeling, so you won't do that anymore.
But, you also got to face your fears too in this world. And sometimes that might be a good way to do it. Just keep desensitizing yourself to fear, and eventually maybe you become fearless.
One really good, and it's not really a slasher movie, but you might think it is when you're watching it, is a movie called Cabin in the Woods. And it'll really kind of throw you for a loop because there's a lot of, different twists and turns where you think you know what you're watching and then you're not sure. Have you seen that movie yet? I think I asked you this the other day.
No, it's on my list.
Yeah, because you'll know why when we're talking about slasher movies, and then why I would recommend that movie per se.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't say much more than that because I don't want to give a spoiler alert. And if you haven't heard yet what the spoiler alert is, that's good for you because when you watch it, it'll do its thing.
I will check it out.
It's kind of like The Sixth Sense when you watch that and you're like at the end, wait a minute. there's that whole thing, right? So
Right.
it's got one of
So
those.
It's a big thing at the end.
I don't know. It kind of gradually, it's not like Sixth Sense where just boof in your face. It's there. It's gradually kind of gives you clues and you're like, what, why am I looking at this? And then at the, as it unfolds, it kind of unfolds. It's not like Sixth Sense where it's like all at once. But it's still kind of a neat movie. But all this to say, we're going to be, Sudbury filmmaker is going to be trying to raise some money here to do a locally shot slasher film. Sudbury Star has that full story. A little bit of sports here too, right?
The Sudbury Junior Spartans headed to OSFL final.
I love the headline
So,
here
I guess they
from Sudbury Sports.
right. This is it. This is for the championship, right?
Yeah. We're going to London, baby. Junior Spartans defeat the Wolverines and punch their ticket to the championship. Sudbury Junior Spartans gathered for a team photo on Saturday evening to mark their Ontario Summer Football League semifinal victory. So they're going to London and they going to the championship.
One game, winner takes all.
One game decides it all. Yeah, that's football in general. That's why football as a sport is interesting, because there's so much going on for one game. And that's in the culture of football.
Mm-hmm. You ever heard, is it George Carlin's take on football? Is that how it's a very like American game? Like it's all this sort of, battle for territory and
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. George Carlin, I think he looks at everything in a different way than, kind of unpacks things.
Yeah.
I remember he's talking.
Games are good like that.
Yeah. Well, the difference with football, and good morning, Jerome. The thing with football is every game means something. Whereas because there's not that many games, so one game could mean where you are in the playoffs or whatever.
Right.
If you make the playoffs. And it's so every game is almost like a playoff game. So they get together and they do a little party in the parking lot. They bring their barbecues and whatever. And it's a whole day event. It's an event. Every game is an event in football.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in hockey or baseball or basketball, there's like 1 million games. So each game is a game.
Yeah, no, I like that.
And that's it. So that's where it's different.
Yeah.
And so
I could do the barbecue thing, that's
yeah.
That's a nice part of the culture.
It's really community. And that's one thing that I think we miss a little bit in Canada is the whole idea of community. When you take into account that we kind of miss the boat on some things. Like we went to high school. We went to high school and we went to class and we learned and we maybe did some sports after or whatever. But down in the United States, going to high school is a thing. It's like, it's a thing. You go there and you have your school colors, and every sport you have is a rivalry against all the other schools who wear their colors. They're kind of proud of their mascot and their colors and their slogan. It means something. There's a back history to it. They go to the games. They cheer on their team. They have this rivalry against the other schools. So a lot of times they'll go and steal their mascots or spray paint the side of the school with their colors. Maybe that's not so good.
Sounds like a lot of college movies of the 80s.
Exactly. But this is even in high schools down there. And there's a lot of activities to take part in. So you can either be on the team, and if you're not on the team, you can be in the band, the school band. Comes out and plays, like let's say their football team, for instance. You can be the drummer, you can be the sax, you can be the whatever player, and you can be a cheerleader. Again, you're in the game. There's a lot to take part in, and there's a lot of school spirit, and I think it builds community that way. So your school is a community rather than just where you go to learn and get beat up in the hallway every second week or something.
Now you're speaking my language.
I did that just for you. But I got beat up a couple times too in high school. I changed schools a lot. So that was me, right? So I was always the new kid. So, I got picked on for a while till I was able to
It makes you tough.
get unpicked on. So so that's it. The Spartans, junior Spartans, are in the championship. The Spartans, the men's team, are looking as well to win their next game and get into, the finals. They're in the playoffs. So I think that's this weekend. We'll have more on that as the week progresses. So here is, no, that one story is done. We shared the municipal,
Crackdown on overcharges. Did you cover that one?
no,
I know
not
it's
yet.
a little bit back. I'm probably just.
But before that, there's one before that, and it's Sudbury, or CTV shared this story, and it's Sudbury couple comes from Missouri to Sudbury to get surgery for their cat.
Who would have thunk, eh?
That's what I mean. I just thought that was interesting.
Sudbury must have something going on here in the vet world.
A couple from Missouri made the trek to Sudbury to have their cat's hip replaced. I just think that's.
Yeah.
I think we'll just leave that one there, and it's just interesting.
That's some good pet owners there.
And then, like you said, hydro, right? There's a letter, crackdown on hydro overcharges. Do you think hydro overcharges us? Is that what happens?
Isn't that what the article is essentially saying? Is it?
It's implying that. Why don't we just start there? So we'll start with this hydro overcharging, because I think a lot of us are probably wondering, are we getting overcharged?
Yeah, there's a lot of cultural references to that. This March, it was revealed that Sudbury Hydro had been overcharging its customers since 2005 due to a system error.
Ouch.
Though the error impacted customer bills over a 17-year period, the utility company only refunded customers for overcharges spanning the past 4 years.
Well, good for
This
them,
amount
right?
amounted to a mere $900,000 in refunds, despite the estimated overcharges amounting to at least $3 million and a net profit in the millions of dollars for Sudbury Hydro from their own mistake.
Wow.
So they'll never do that again.
Oh, I'm sure they won't. Yeah. And then goes on, right?
Mm-hmm. It goes on and on.
So what's worse, the same type of error appears to be happening elsewhere across the province. Recent audit conducted by electricity bill auditing firm Potec Power Corporation has found that at least 5 other hydro companies in the province are making a similar error on customer bills, leading to overcharges. In any other business sector, overcharges on client invoices would be identified and rectified swiftly and completely. Refunds would be owed and issued to customers in full with interest, unless it's from the government. Our hydro companies shouldn't be treated any differently. Let's call on the province's hydro companies to come clean with these mistakes, and let's call upon Ontario Energy Board to implement real consequences for overcharges. Enough's enough. The days of utilities silently making profits off billing errors need to come to an end.
Good letter.
Jeremy Potec.
Mm-hmm. It's got very actionable instructions here.
Let's make a stand against these hydro overcharges. Well, I'm with you on that one.
So the ball
Jeremy
is in the Ontario Energy Board's court, I guess.
Yeah.
And how do you keep their finger? Their finger.
We keep
finger
our finger
on the pulse, feet to the fire, or finger to the fire.
Our finger on the pulse and their feet to the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. How do we do this? Like, who's fighting for us anymore? You know what I mean? Like, who's on our side out there? Who is?
Well, Jeremy Potec is.
Yeah, like just us, like single people. Well, I guess the Sudbury Star, good on them for publishing this letter, right?
Yeah.
Because we're talking about it and we're reading it.
That's stage 2 or 3.
But I didn't know, or either I forgot about it, because there's a lot of these kind of corruption stories all the time. We get kind of climatized to it, and we just kind of get lethargic. Is that the right word?
Apathetic.
Apathetic. Thank you. That's the word that always comes to my head first. that I mean to say apathetic. So thank you, Billy.
Yeah, that's
You have a couple of those words too.
yeah.
I
yeah.
have those same problems with some words. We get apathetic to these things. And I didn't realize they were doing it for what, 9 years? Is that what it said? But we only got paid back for 4 or 17-year period. It says
Correct.
a 17-year period that they knowingly were overcharging. And then they only paid us back for 4 of those years.
I'm not sure it says that they knowingly overcharged.
Oh, well,
it was a mistake.
Oh, sorry.
That
Knowingly after the fact, though, it was found, and then they
they know that they overpaid for that.
So
long,
they do know
yeah.
that.
So you'd think that that would be fair. I'm thinking if I was a judge in the case and I said, "Well, how much money did you take?" Well, then put that back.
Or yeah, no, that was the company, but Jeremy says his name at the end. Jeremy Potek. That's who. He's of Toronto. But I think it was the same auditing name of the company too.
Oh yeah,
Miles
yeah.
is
Look
saying.
at that, Potec Power Corporation.
Yeah, so maybe this is it's
Yeah.
the guy who owns the consulting service too. That's
plot thickens.
he's like, I want more money to.
Let's do some more
Investigate.
deeper audit here. Yes.
That's right. I want to audit some
Yeah.
more.
But hey, whatever works.
That's right. Yeah. Whoever's on the side of people gaining or getting a little bit of justice in the world, I'm on that side too. So here you got it. And then, let's go back to the Greater Sudbury
Yeah.
Councillors approve social media policy.
Okay.
Did you look at this one a little bit?
No, I haven't.
Okay. That's fine.
I think it's come up a couple times,
did.
so I have a little bit of a sense of what
We
it
did.
is.
Some of them like, well, didn't we already talk about this? They're just mentioning it as if it happened again or something.
Well, they're ongoing, right?
Yeah. Greater Sudbury councillors approve social media policy. We need to eliminate the gray zone by not allowing councillors to post content about their positions on sites from which they profit.
So that's
Oh.
an intriguing headline. So what's a profit?
Greater City of Sudbury is taking a big leap into the future. Oh, I'm sorry for laughing. Just that statement alone sounds funny.
It's kind of Orwellian. Uh-oh.
The city of Greater Sudbury is taking a big leap into the future. I'm like, uh-oh. That could only mean trouble.
So
doing that.
I think there's a censorship angle to this, eh? And that's
There is.
that's one of those not quite double speak, but when they say, well, it's for this. See, it's a good reason, but sometimes there's a real reason underneath a good reason, right? So
Yeah, exactly. During the most recent council meeting, members voted unanimously in favor of implementing a social media policy which will guide councillors as they navigate the digital sphere. Ward 1 Councillor Mark Signoretti and Ward 6 Councillor Renee Lapierre originally introduced a motion last fall asking staff to chart their way forward. The two councillors said they noted a lack of consistency and confusion around proper protocol. Not all members of council have maintained a presence on social media, and those who do use the tool in different ways. Go figure. Everyone uses the social media tools in different ways.
people are different, eh?
Wow, that's a revelation. They said last year they were introducing the motion to encourage, quote, openness, transparency, and proper conduct, end of quote, from their peers, and to ensure no one was profiting financially from their position on council, which I do agree with. Like, I think if they are profiting in some way, they should be looking at that. So, I applaud that. So let's see if this indeed is a way to achieve that goal. Again, Signoretti said, we're elected representatives, but we have to play by the same rules. We all get comments from constituents that may not be favorable or may seem unfair, but we put ourselves in this position. You take the good with the bad and the ugly. while Signoretti and Lapierre said they have no problem with counselors earning money from social media. Both said they should not marry the personal and political.
Now, that kind of got highlighted in my mind. Making money from social media.
Yeah.
How do politicians make money from social media, do you figure?
And that's exactly the question that ran across my mind as I was talking about that, reading it.
I don't know if they really can monetize their
social media.
Yeah, I mean,
I think
they're not going to have millions of views, I don't imagine.
No. And I'm guessing this is what he's getting to because Councillor Kerwin runs a group on Facebook for Valley East. Like he's the moderator or whatever of Valley East Facebook page.
Right. So he would be probably monetizing that page.
But I don't think he's monetizing. I don't think it, even if it is, it's like pennies. It's not,
right.
It's not very much money. So anyways, let's see if he makes a case for who's doing it and why he's thinking somebody's making money off social media. When the content of that social media relies on their counselor's position, it is crossed into a gray zone. We need to eliminate the gray zone, not allowing counselors to post content about their positions on sites from which they profit. While Ward 11 Councillor Bill Leduc asked for a deferral, he said the next city council should formalize the way forward, which I agree with. His peers did not agree, and councils voted to enact the policy, even though a lot of them could be voted out in less than 2 months. That's why I think Bill Leduc was on the right track, because he's like, okay, we're going to make a policy here that a lot of us aren't even going to be a part of. Like, why would we make this change when we've been in power here for 4 years? Could have did it then. Like, why don't we just wait for the new council to do it? But no, they all went ahead and voted unanimously. Well, that's what I think. If they voted unanimously, why did Bill Leduc vote for it? If he's the one who said we should defer it to the next council, he still voted for it.
Yeah, that's a good observation there.
Thought that was interesting.
You're kind of like Columbo of Sudbury.
Columbo.
One more thing, Bill.
Yeah. Kind of dressed like him. Ward 5 councillor, to which we've already spoken of, Robert Kerwin, who has been in hot water with the Integrity Commissioner over his use of Facebook, endorsed the social media policy. Well, that's interesting. If he was the one gaining from it, why would you think he endorsed it? I smell a rat.
It's unanimous. Wow.
A great deal of the proposed policy seems to have been taken directly from the terms and conditions my wife and I have maintained on our Valley East Facebook group for more than 12 years. I'm extremely pleased to see these standards are going to apply to all city councilors moving forward, Curran said in June to the Sudbury Star.
I guess it's one of those things too. It might be like an optics thing, if you don't vote for something, it's like that Seinfeld episode where, what's his name? Like they approach him and they say, "Wear the ribbon."
Oh yeah, I did
like,
see that one.
Well, I don't want to wear the ribbon.
I don't want to wear the ribbon. Yeah. No, but you have to wear the ribbon.
But there's kind of like,
everyone's,
oh my God, the social implications if you don't,
He's already walking for the cause. He's donating, but they want him to take the extra step and wear the ribbon while he's walking. And he's like, no, I'm not a ribbon guy, really. I don't want to put the ribbon on. They're like, you got to put the ribbon on. I know. That is.
I remember being in that situation where it's like, oh, that's just such a universal thing. If you step out and be like, why don't you agree with this? Why would you?
I know.
So sometimes I think of those situations when I see unanimous, it's like, it might not be mentally unanimous, but there's just the way it's framed, they could be optically really dismantled.
Yeah, that's true. So they still got to go along with it anyways, even though they had some reservations about it. So yeah, so Kerwin, I guess, again, I don't think he's making money off this Facebook page, but says he's delighted with the motion. I'm going to ask to be a mover on the motion even. My wife even asked if she'd be able to second the motion, ha ha ha, LOL kind of thing, because she's not on council. She can't second a motion. But he's just saying how much his wife even thought this would be a really great idea. I told her I didn't think the city clerk would approve. While there has been significant discord around the council table for a few years, Ward 7 Councillor Mike Jacobou cited it as one reason he's not seeking re-election. The policy should promote unity amongst the cohort, the police said. Oh, this gets even more interesting. All right. It is essential that residents understand and trust the decision-making process of their elected representatives. The policy indicated while members in their individual capacity are not required to agree with all decisions made by the council, they shall accurately and adequately communicate information regarding such decisions when they use social media. Orwellian indeed, the wording there.
So, yeah.
Even though they don't agree, they shouldn't disagree on social media.
Stays in the room.
That's right. Yeah. You don't want to show, disapproval to the masses afterwards. You want to get in line with everybody.
And I can appreciate an element of that.
Sure. Once a decision's made, move on.
But again, it's like the road that leads from there might not be good. It's like that doesn't.
Yeah. I think they're looking at the debate continues afterwards, right? So we've already debated it in city council. So why are we now going and airing our dirty laundry afterwards again and then getting everybody all hot and bothered again when we've already decided to do this thing?
Yeah.
Well, it's the thing called social media. That's what it's actually for. And it is a thing. It's almost like if you owned a VCR company and you're trying to fight, Blu-ray. And now if you own Blu-ray, you're fighting Netflix and you're fighting, things kind of move on and you got to adapt and stuff. But I guess that's what they're doing right now. They're trying to quell and squash any kind of people airing dirty laundry or maybe opening up old wounds, if you will. That's what it sounds like to me.
And I'm sure it's gets very unproductive at a point.
Yeah. It's true.
But I think at this era in social media, this is, it is going to be bumpy, but we probably have to push through rather than kind of lose our transparency. Sorry.
That's fine.
This mic here's kind of falling down.
Something
like that.
I could have muted you, but I didn't get to the mute button fast enough.
Yeah. No, it makes a funny sound when I do that too.
Yeah.
So.
The social media policy, an appendix of the Code of Conduct, so they're just adding on to whatever's already there for Code of Conduct policy, will be overseen by Robert Swayze, related to Patrick possibly, the city's integrity commissioner. In September 2019, and again in September 2021, Swayze recommended Kerwin be reprimanded for his behavior online. Council agreed both times and issued the reprimands. Swayze has also investigated Ward 3 Councillor Jerry Montpellier twice, but those reports did not concern social media. Most recently, it was discovered Kerwin and his wife, Valerie, were using a fake Facebook account under the name Jesse Timmons to administer their Valley East group, which boasts more than 19,000 members to engaged members. And they had not made it clear Jesse Timmons was an extension of the Kerwin household. The plot is thickening even more. In 2019, Swayze delivered a report to council in which he said that Kerwin had gone too far over the line. He pointed to 3 specific statements Kerwin made in the Valley East group. One, against David Robinson, an economics professor at Laurentian University. Another against Tom Price, an advisor against Ward 2 Councillor Michael Vagnini. An advisor to Ward 2 Councillor Michael Vagnini, but he said a comment against Tom Price. And an outspoken critic of many city decisions, and a third against an unnamed individual who participated in Greater Sudbury Politics Facebook group. Swayze accused the councillor of being rude and harassing towards the 3 individuals. Kerwin said he hopes moving forward, the new policy will ensure that discussion on any social media site is constructive and does not include personal attacks, discrimination, harassment, intimidation, or insults. Kerwin suggested it could mean more work for some counselors. Not everyone administers their space as closely as he and his wife, but it will ensure accurate and factual information is shared with the public. Okay, I'm scratching my head here. Kerwin was the only one who was really fingered out by this commissioner for doing 3 things that were really, and he faced reprimand, and he took it. He agreed that he went overstepped the bounds. But now he's saying, yeah, he agrees with this policy because the way he goes about his social media, everyone should follow it. I don't understand that. Do you understand what's going on here?
It seems to me it's like one of those when the company has a safety meeting for something you did yesterday.
Yes, I totally agree.
Like,
Everyone should follow safety protocols like I do, even though you're the only one who breached the safety protocols 3 times. That makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Well, I can see.
He's the only one who's been reprimanded, yet he's like totally like, yeah, we should do it like me and my wife do. It's like, okay, weren't you doing it wrong? And they're just worried he's got 19,000 followers. And if someone else gets in the same position, like let's say Sudbury News, I was to run for council and I had this soapbox, let's say, they don't want someone like this getting in there who could then sway the people a little more than others. Isn't that what it sounds like?
That's a good way of breaking it down. See, now it's getting flushed out in my mind. Okay.
Yeah. Doesn't that make sense?
That does make sense.
Because they have like an audience, so they don't want them taking advantage of the audience they have to sway people's minds in their direction.
Right. But I think realistically, all politicians have a degree of communication.
For sure.
And it's like some people who are exceptional at it, that makes them a better politician. So why not take advantage of that? Yeah.
Miles says, do what I say, not as I do. Exactly. That's exactly, because he was doing wrong things, but he's saying he's doing the right things and everyone else should do it too. But yeah, don't they all have the same access? So Sudbury Star has something like 30,000 followers on Facebook. Sudbury.com has something like 40,000. CBC has 19,000. So if you think of that, if any counselor put out a press release, there's all these people right there. So they all have the same, opportunity to reach these people if they were vocal. Now, maybe a counselor isn't vocal, or maybe they just go about their job and whatever. And some are a little more extroverted and some engage a little more. So should you stop the ones who kind of are really good, like you were saying, Billy? Is that a bad thing that they're really good at social media and they're able to get out there and do things? That's what they do well. So why would you govern that back just because they're good at it? It means it's an extension of being a good counselor. You're communicating with your constituents in a better way.
Why people are voting for you.
Well, that's what I mean. So now you want to stop that. You want to stop someone who can use that as an advantage because you don't have that as an advantage. Kind of like, it just seems like they want to level the playing field and say no one can use social media. It's kind of like when the Donald got elected in the States and they said, oh, that's not fair, he used Facebook. But meanwhile, they were applauding the former president. Oh, look how savvy he is. He used Facebook. It's like, I don't get it. I really don't. Because just because they're good at doing something, they were good at getting elected. The other side cries out and says, why are you so good? I remember back in, and then again, that's a socialist type of an idea. Make everyone the same. You can't, if someone kind of gets better at something, that's not right because other people aren't that good. So you got to bring that person down to the average. You got to make everyone average. No one can excel at anything. Everyone's got to be the exact same thing. Drive the same type of car, be in the same type of house, have the same type of income. Everyone has to be the exact same. But try doing that. Try actually making that come to pass. I remember when I was playing hockey and for some reason I got the MVP every game of the tournament. It wasn't huge. I was in like Tom Thumb or something, or Squirts or whatever it was called at the time. Anyways, I got the MVP Well, the coach thought, well, you know, my son was really disappointed, and he thought he should get the MVP for at least one of those games, And you got it all the games, right? So maybe if you just give me one of your trophies, and
No way.
I'll give it to my son, because he's crying right now. And so I felt bad, and I gave him one of my MVP trophies. And then I came to the car, and my dad goes, I thought you had 4 trophies. I said, I did, but he goes, why do you only have 3 then? Did you lose one? I said, no. He goes, well, where's the 4th one? I said, well, the coach said to me that, his son feels really bad, and he felt his son probably deserved at least one of the MVP. I already had 4, so. My dad goes, oh yeah? He goes, wait here. He goes in, and I don't know what happened, but he came back with the trophy.
All right.
Yeah. So
equality of opportunity, not equality of outcome. That's one of the catchphrases.
his son had every opportunity to get the MVP on his own merits, right? There was no difference. Like, he could have got up at 6 a.m, drank raw eggs and magnesium and energy bars, and did 100 sit-ups and push-ups before he went to school too. He could have did all those things, but my dad coached me to be able to do that. And that's the reason why I had the MVPs. No other reason. It wasn't even me. It was because my dad was such a good coach, right? So I had that opportunity. He could have done the same things. He didn't end up with that situation. And so there's outcomes that you can't control due to things you can't control that lead to those outcomes.
That's a great story.
It is. And I always use that in my socialism kind of analogy, because that's what socialism is. It's like, oh, and you hear a lot of it out there. Oh, they have too much money. They shouldn't have too much money. Thinking there's a finite amount of money out there or something. There's only so much. And they got some of it, which is totally untrue. You can go out and make as much money as you want today. If you make a different decision, you get another job today, or you make a business or you invent something, you can make more money than you're making now. Like, there's nothing stopping you from doing that, really. Well, there are some things, but it's getting harder and harder to do things like that because socialism is becoming more and more apparent. So they're trying to stop people from doing things like that more and more. But if you think like that, there's only so much of a pie. The pie is only so big, and and if someone has 3 pieces, you can only have 1 piece. That's not true. There's endless amounts of wealth out there. If you just go out and do something, you can have just as much as anyone else, really, honestly. But socialism makes you think that there's only so much of a pie, and they got more of it than you. That's unfair. So you need to take some of that from them back to you, which doesn't make any sense. Life is unfair, as my grade 5 and 7 teacher taught me. It's unfair. So you try and make it fair, and it'll come back even worse than what it is. All that to say, we have a new social media policy in Sudbury.
All right. Well, we'll see how it goes.
They're trying to make it fair. They're trying to make it fair, so nobody says anything and no one gains any advantage whatsoever. And here, the claims of someone making money off social media were not put in this article, by the way, whoever wrote this. Looks like or MK. Can you read the name?
Mary Cowan?
Cowan?
McCowan?
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. At Post Media. So, Mary wrote it. So anyways, it wasn't said. So one of the counselors made an accusation that someone's making money off social media, and I never seen that here. Like, who's making money off what social media and how much? Like, that's what we need, right? The 5 W's and H of reporting, we need to know that information. So that would be nice, because it doesn't seem to me that anyone is making money off of it. And that's one of the reasons why this policy went ahead, because someone is making money off social media. And if that wasn't the case, then they voted on something that wasn't proven, and it wasn't proven to me, is what I'm saying through this article, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it is the case.
Because hypothetically, that
said.
is a good policy, right? But
yeah, if someone was making money off of it. But you know what? We talked about that. I talked about this probably way too long today. And there's a couple other stories.
that was a long segment.
Wow. Sorry
But
about
an
that.
important segment.
Yeah. So
Because that's going to affect who knows how long into the future.
We have this one that I just wanted to get to because, I'm interested in it. And I hope everyone else maybe is too. Minister to target gun gang violence in Sudbury.
When's he coming?
Marco Mendicino, a federal minister of public safety, will be in Sudbury on Tuesday, today, to talk about preventing gun and gang violence in the city. So it is. Yeah, we're going to be trying to prevent it here. Sudbury MP Vivian Lapointe and Nickel Belt MP Mark G. Sede and Brian Bigger will join Mendicino for a press conference. A release said they will announce support for organizations on the front lines of the fight against gun and gang violence in Greater Sudbury. So I'd like to know what organizations these are and what do they stand for? What are they doing? But they are going to support them regardless. So here's an opportunity. See, talking about there's lots of money out there. If you want to make it, you got a few hours now to make an organization that's going to fight gun and gang violence in Sudbury, and you might get some support here. You might get some cash.
Yeah, I see your wheels turning.
Yeah.
Just need a catchy name.
Need a catchy name. Gun and gang, the GG something. Anyway, we'll come up with something. Post media. Wait, is that it? That's all the story?
Yeah, I think that's the story.
Oh my goodness. That's all.
Think he'll recommend more foot patrols?
Well, you know what? We're going to cover this story tomorrow because it's taking place today, obviously, the press conference. And then we can, well, you won't be here, unfortunately, because you're going to be at work.
I'll have to check in on Thursday.
So anyways, Pierre, Maher, and Nick will be unavailable. Maybe Dave will join us. I don't know. Someone will be on the show. Maybe I can get Miles. Depends. So I'm going to put it out a little bit of a thing out there and see who can be in the hot seat tomorrow. If you know anyone, Billy, you can.
All right. I'll
put the word out. You too can be the next contestant on Sudbury News. So Miles is chiming in here. Is gun and gang violence in Sudbury a recent development? Yeah, that was my thoughts as well. I don't think so. I think they catch people with guns every once in a while. I don't think it's an epidemic by any stretch. So I think opioid crisis is more concerning. I do too.
Very related, I would say.
Oh, yeah, it could be. Yeah, I'm sure they are. Oh, yeah, Miles is in Calgary on his laptop, so maybe he won't be able to make it tomorrow. You have to have some darn good internet. Maybe Calgary's got good internet. You never know. Anyways, I'll put the word out, and we'll have someone tomorrow regardless. So thanks, Billy, for being here today.
Hey, my pleasure.
I apologize, Billy, for taking so much of your time up with ranting about so much today.
No, that was a good rant.
Okay.
I did learn something.
Well,
you make some good points there.
Will you be back on another day this week at all?
Thursday,
we'll get Billy back here in the studio. Thanks for being with us, everyone. Thanks for supporting us. Make sure to like and share the page, the video, and we'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Ciao.